of Kal Korff's mother, whose name is Dot, lives up in Northern California or Oregon or something. And evidently maybe she helps sort of further his life along, because we don't know how he makes any money. I don't think his books sell that well. So that's not something that didn't happen. Hard to pin it down from the Czech Republic, though.
Well, it's like so much. Hey, you know what? Right now we are at the very top of the hour. Normally we have a rather extensive top of the hour break, but because of the length of all the people that I'm talking to tonight, we're just going to take a short break. Let me tell everybody who we are. You are tuned in to Dark Matters Radio. I am your host tonight, the Kal Korff Expose. And this is who we are.
Go and do something altogether new.
Well, guys, I want to build something called an airplane. Get people to go in and fly around like birds.
CyberstationUSA.com.
Step back for 1 minute and look at the big picture.
This is the evolution of radio.
This is beautiful now. This is awesome.
And we are back. You are listening to Cyberstation USA, now on the new worldwide portal.
Sure.
Okay, FN, one of the things that I noticed up on the Cal is an idiot, which that's kind of a funny name, but I guess it's true. Blog site that you broke here a couple of days ago involved his now claims that he is marrying some Indian, and I'm talking about from the subcontinent of India, a princess. What's the story on that? Because you know, this fellow makes so many grandiose claims that, I mean, just on the surface, you've got to wonder if he's in a rowboat with both oars or not. I mean, some of this is so outlandish. But what did you dig up?
He was having something to do with a lady up in Seattle since high school or before high school, and they reconnected. They were talking, blah, 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 blah. Things started to go south when she started to question a bunch of his claims. He lashed back with something to the effect of the Princess of Kumar in India has contacted me, you know, cold, I guess, and said, I need to see you, Cal. The next day, he follows up that email with, she's proposed to me and I've accepted. So I did a bunch of research on that, and he kind of blew it from the start. Kumar is the male, Kumari is the female. There are no more princesses in India. They use the term Kumare as a term of endearment there. They use that name as a middle name quite commonly when they introduce someone. And the person I talked to also said, generally speaking, you're not going to get a foreigner to marry somebody cold like that. There has to be some sort of introduction, some familiarity and such. And by reading through these long ranting Korffs, these threads, it's clear that that wasn't there. So while I can't prove it 100%, he's wrong on many parts of that. And to back up a little bit about the marriage thing, he came out 3 years ago and said that he has a son, and this son is of genius IQ, which you would expect nothing more from him. And by talking to people associated with him, old school chums and things, he was married for a very short time. It crumbled, no kids. So he shows a tendency to lie about that, and then he shows a tendency to want to lash back at women and say, well, you can't have me now because the Princess of Kumar wants me. And there's one other little sideline there. He claims he's Jewish, and he might very well be, and that's fine. And he claims that his bloodline, I can't remember the name of it, it's like a European bloodline, is so superior and so important that he must have children by the time he's 52, and I think he's 49 now, because it would be a huge blow to the world if he didn't have children.
Well, now, I got a question about that. Not about the children, but about his other sideline, which is fighting international terrorists. One of the main themes that he's pounded for a long time is that he, well, at first was a captain and then a full colonel in the Israeli-founded Special Secret Services. Incidentally financed, once again, let me restate this, by a Saudi Arabian sheikh to the tune of $25 million. Now, first off, I got to ask you, would anyone in a secret or semi-secret organization fighting terrorists announce it on the internet?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Also, because he's a slimy weasel, what he will say to what you just said is, no. That $25 million was for my other activities and my 500-volume book set deal contract that I got. That $25 million has nothing to do with the S3 blah blah blah. That's Korff.
500-book deal.
Yes, a 500-book deal. He's made plenty of claims about, I'm going to put out 25 books about the Billy Meyer case. You were sent some paste-up pictures of the first book that's never been released. I'm going to put out 50 videos on these terrorists, Jimmy D and F1 Racer. One crappy video was released. On and on and on and on.
So this guy is basically, at this point, floundering. What keeps him going? I mean, he's got to realize, doesn't he, that he appears like a buffoon to anybody that takes 3 seconds to look at any of this?
Yeah, I think the worst thing that he did, Don, the very worst thing he could have done was he came off of his template website, his crappy website, and he went on to Facebook. And the reason he did this is fake Kal Korffs were joining Facebook and making fun of him. So he had the majority of those pulled. There's still one up there, and he says he's leaving that one alone to give you boys a place to play. He started to use it as his main footprint on the internet, and bad mistake when you're a Walter Mitty type. It's coming back to haunt him. You've seen the threads now of folks who are starting to fight back against him and question his expertise in anything. And boy, he must spend a tremendous amount of time banging out emails to people on and off Facebook to try to support his
fantasy world.
Yes,
support his fantasy world. You might, like I said a little bit earlier, you might expect this from an 8 or a 10-year-old kid, just playing, having a fantasy life like most kids do. But this guy is pushing 50.
Yeah, he's pushing 50. He has stolen valor as far as we're concerned. There's text and photos to prove it. Continually makes statements about, I've been hired by this person, I've been hired by that, and you can kind of check on it. Another thing I checked on, which was so lame of him to do, is he's part of some sort of an organization for world peace. This is above and beyond the organization he started to give out free iPads to teach people around the world better English. This has to do with world peace, and he said that he was in partnership with the Dayton Peace Museum, et cetera, et cetera. And I checked on this because there is a city of Dayton, Ohio. So I called up a bunch of people and blah, 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 blah. And everything he says about his Dayton peace initiative, his own, not the one that really happened there, is fake. It's false. None of it is true. Not a shred of it is true.
Okay, well, FN, I think we've basically gone as far as we can go right now at this point. You will be back joining us in the round table. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us, and I'll be chatting again with you very soon.
I want to thank you for taking the time and being mature enough to put yourself on the line here and get the real word out about this guy. He must be stopped.
Okay, well, we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest will be... But wait a minute. Before we go to my next guest, before I forget, and like I said, this is so jam-packed tonight that I wanted to try to remember to get everything in there that I wanted to get in this particular episode. And one of the things that Kal Korff was so proud of was his claim that among all the hundreds and even thousands of researchers, he in fact solved the JFK case. And he was very proud of the fact that he made one appearance on Larry King Live. So, in lieu of that, Kalvin, here's something for you to listen to.
My name is Kal Korff, and I'm a colonel in the Israeli-founded Special Secret Services. Welcome to another episode of Desperate Don. Today, we're going to talk about Don Ecker's seeming surprise that I actually solved President Kennedy's assassination, and of course got credit for doing so on Live when I appeared as the main special guest on November 22nd, 1990. The reason I was on that show is because I had done a 16-year study. You can ask my mother.
Ah, yes, Larry King Live. Well, guess what, Mr. Korff? As a matter of fact, I've been on Larry King Live 6, maybe 7 times. I don't actually remember. But to show you, to prove to you, here's something that Larry King said about me.
Real fast.
Jim, are you aware of any NASA studies on the UFO phenomenon?
I'm aware,
I'm not saying
30
spaceship.
years of
I'm
phony
saying
stories.
UFO
Guys will have you both come back. We're out of time. Thanks, fellas. Okay, thanks. We're out of time. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Don Ecker Live from Washington.
Oh, yes. Now, Kalvin, just so you make sure that you didn't miss that, let me play that for you one more time.
Okay, thanks. We're out of time. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Don Ecker Live from Washington.
Oh, yes, Kalvin, just for you. Now, for our very next guest, and actually quite a special guest because the next guest has had some rather extensive interface with Kalvin Korff, Mr. David Biedny. David, welcome to Dark Matters Radio. How you doing?
Hey there, Don Ecker Live. You know, you would definitely do a better job than that Piers Morgan guy. I mean, that's just sad. What were they thinking?
I have no idea, but once again, that's CNN. Hey, now, to get back to the topic, the subject.
Yes.
David, you know, in all the time that I've been unfortunately involved with this American lunatic currently hiding out in the Czech Republic, this man has gone out of his way to try to damage many people, yourself included, an individual that claims to only want to present the truth, the American way, the American justice. I mean, you know, this entire mishmash of delusional claptrap. You just recently had a very telling problem with him, didn't you, with your professional life? Now, this is one of the things also that I wanted to once again lay out to the listeners.